Good evening to all crypto traders and welcome to another Elliott Waves on Cryptos. It's been a while and apologies for this. I couldn't actually wait to find some time to do just this one video until I'm available for the next one. Now, I know a lot of you have been waiting patiently and I appreciate the fact that you value my content and the analysis here. Don't forget, all of this is not financial advice. It is just an opinion. As you well remember, the most tracked or the pair that we monitor all the time is BTC because it's the most important. Now, most of you probably wonder what is the current structure that I'm looking. How does it match the previous main scenario that we've been looking, and has anything changed? The truth is that yes, there has been something that has changed, and this is because of the sideways markets that we have been experiencing over the past few weeks. And in my opinion, we're going to be sideways for a little bit longer before we have that last and final leg to the downside to complete this correction in primary wave 4 and then continue up for the end of this cycle that probably is going to get us to through next year as well. So without further ado, guys, I want to go start with the BTC and with the BTC, but most likely this is going to take a while because I think first of all, I've been a bit rusty that I haven't done a video for like 3-4 weeks now. Second, there is quite a few alternatives that we need to remember in case, of course, one is invalidated, then the other one will have more chances to be invalidated. So probabilities, it's again probabilities here that we need to have all the possible scenarios, or at least the most probable scenarios in our books. So without further ado, let's have a quick look on BTC USD, guys. And here is the short term that we need to start off with. And guys, you will see that I've moved my wave 4 from originally being here down to here. And this is because the current move to the downside, it's looking a bit corrective. And I'm not convinced that this is a leading diagonal. Because if that be a leading diagonal, and that would be a wave 1, and that is a wave 2, then that means that this wave 1 is one lower degree of this 1 and 2, which means that again, that wave 3 has to be very extended because it starts with a leading diagonal, and then we will get 4 and 5, and that would be then the wave 3, and then we will get the wave 4, and then we will get the wave 5. I'm not really a fan of this scenario. That's why this is not any longer my main scenario, and is going back on the back burner of the alternatives as well, probably like the third alternative or something, purely because if that happened, we would be looking at a very low price, probably like 10K or so, because we're looking at 2 degrees unrolling to the downside. And one of those degrees has a leading diagonal for its first wave. So we're looking at a lot of downside should that happen. But I don't think we're going to go that low. I do believe that 23, 24K is our level, and I have been actually adamant to this view for a while now. It is not a rule, it is an Elliott wave guideline, but the correction, I believe, is going to end around that level, above the 20K. Perhaps we might get a false break below 20, but that will be the minimum for me, in my opinion. Now, what else I'm really looking at here is that the correction in wave 4, but not in this wave 4. We're looking at the primary wave 4 that we're expecting to finish, which is the wave down at 23K. And why I'm looking at this, because this correction from the top down to where we are now and all the way down to 4 is expected to last a little bit longer, because we need to compare this primary wave 4 to the primary wave 2. And primary wave 2 correction lasted longer than what we are actually looking at now. Again, it's not a rule, it's a guideline, but these guidelines, provide more of a signal to me that supports the particular view that this, guys, is a double combination. As you well know, I was looking at this as a truncated zigzag, another zigzag in B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means this is a flat. So I was looking at a flat and then a continuation to the downside. Now I'm still looking at a flat, but this flat is part of a complex correction. That means that we have W, okay, we had a zigzagging wave X down here, okay, and we're expecting wave, well, we expect another ABC over here for wave Z, okay? And I believe that's going to get us close to the previous high, perhaps even higher than the previous high, okay? Now, with that said, we are currently down here, guys, because we've had an ABC over here, okay? A leading diagonal, a correction, and then a 5-wave move to the upside for W, which is right here. Now we ended wave X, in my opinion. So this wave X, guys, it's to me a triangle, okay? Because we see ABC moves. Triangles are structures that have 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 waves, okay? So this is the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, or the A, the B, the C, the D, and the E. And it looks like to me the E is also an ending diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means we ended down here the ending diagonal in wave E. Do also note for your consideration or for your information that when we have a triangle, only one wave of the triangle can be complex, okay? Which means, you know, we can have this wave E as an ending diagonal because all of these waves are simple corrections, okay? Simple zigzags pretty much. Now, with that said, we have finished wave X down here, and now we're expecting wave Y. Wave Y can be an ABC. It can be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is an ending diagonal, okay? It can be, well, the A, I mean, it could be even a W, X, and Y again, which means we're going to get ABC here and then ABC, or that can be an ending diagonal. There is so many combinations, guys, that we can really take into consideration for wave Y. What is important to remember, though, is that we are looking for another leg up, okay? And that starts now. What we have to, however, pay attention to is the 61.8 here. I've drawn my Fibonacci retracement down over here. And you see that we rejected we got a rejection of 61.8, which is important level, okay? Which means this 61.8, if it holds, there's very good likelihood that we're going to continue lower rather than anything else, which means we'll go back to the scenario, well, where this is a leading diagonal. But if that was the case, I would be more interested to call this a wave 4, okay? And this would be my wave 1, this would be my wave 2 over here, which means this would be something like a correction, another correction, and another correction, which means that that would be 1, and that would be 2 over here, right? And this would be W, X, and Y, which still means that not a leading diagonal, this would be a triangle. We expect another wave down up to perhaps the 61.8 just to take out the previous high, or perhaps even a fake attempt. If we get here and you see prices start moving down impulsively, then most likely this is my 1 and this is my 2, and we'll continue down in 3. Because this scenario means that we don't have a leading diagonal in a lower degree move, okay? And that means that we're not gonna head as low as the 10, 15K or whatever, okay? And we can easily go to the 23 target because we are looking at 1 degree unrolling to the downside, okay? Now, there is a different scenario that I have been looking as well, okay, guys? That still, it's looking at this as a, well, we've got to look at this with a perspective that, you know, this is some sort of triangle, okay? So that means this is my wave A, this is my wave B, and we're gonna get the C, okay? So in the wave B, as you can see, we have an open triangle. We have the A as an ABC and the B, which is considered again as an ABC. So that means, guys, that we can expect a C for a flat, okay? So because this looks as an ABC, okay, it's gonna be a variation of a flat pattern that is expected to be an ending diagonal because we're expecting 5 waves up in wave C or down, okay, in wave C of a flat. That means that it's going to be what I call a complex flat because it has a complex 5-wave move in wave C, which is the ending diagonal. In that case, that means that this would be 1. This would be wave 2, guys. And then we will get wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5, okay? So how that can come through, we do not know. And where we can go up to is also unknown. But what I can tell you with high confidence is that we can get to two variations, either a regular flat, which is not possible in this scenario because we broke below the previous low, or an irregular flat, which is the case here because we broke below that low. So if we have an irregular flat, okay, there is two types of irregular flat we can get: a running irregular flat or an expanded irregular flat. If it is a running irregular flat, it means that this is 1, this is 2. When I get 3, 4, and 5, and we'll end below the 41.28. If this is an expanding flat, then we can go up to, well, I will tell you now. I will go from A to B, and we're gonna do 1618 and the 618. We can go up to 52.27 before we start moving lower down. However, because this is our wave 1, we don't want to break below that, above that, sorry, we're probably looking at something below the 46. Now, anything above the 100, which is the 41 or 42, is considered to be an expanding flat. So you see that we're probably looking at this zone anywhere between the 41.60 and the 46.80 or so, okay? And that would be an ending diagonal, okay? And that would be a wave 4 as an expanding or running flat, okay? With the wave B being an open triangle and wave C being a complex and an ending diagonal, okay? But as I said before, this is like probably the fourth alternative. Another one is the one that is a bit more obvious for some, okay, and some even believe that that is the case. Now this is my wave 3, this is my wave 4, could still be an ABC over here, and I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's my wave 5, and we ended here. And now we're going to move up. We're going to start moving up, and we're going to start moving up, and then, you know, never stop. But why I don't see this as being a high probable scenario is because this is a correction, okay? And it looks highly corrective. That is why I'll look at it as a scenario where most likely is an ending diagonal or a W, X, and Y, which is zigzag, the scenario I'm supporting. It could be, of course, a leading diagonal with a corrective structure, but getting a triangle in wave 2, you well know that it is impossible. Unless it is an ABC, which is W, then X, and then a Y, some sort of move, then fine. Which means that we're gonna start moving lower down, okay? But we wouldn't want to go below wave B. So if we start moving lower down and we stop above the wave B, then it would be the probabilities of this becoming a leading diagonal with a corrective structure are going to change, which is it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the upside, okay? So pretty much this is going to be it for this long-awaited video, guys. Before I go, just don't forget that we really want the 23453 to come through, and the best way for that to happen, in my opinion, is to have a correction lasting a little bit longer up in wave 4 and then get a more orthodox 5-wave move to the downside, which could be an ending diagonal or an impulse with the 5 waves to the downside. But because of all these sort of structures that we're seeing currently and the corrections that come one after the other, are more looking at this particular case as a W, X, and Y, with the Y wave coming in fairly soon for the completion of wave 4. So thanks again, guys. Apologies for the delay, and I hope you do like this video. Thumbs up, subscribe, notifications on, and well, I hope you won't have to wait as long for the next video.